A presentation on lesson plan for each content unit/competency by Teacher Keneisha. What is a lesson plan? Lesson plan is a teaching tool that helps the teacher in deciding what to teach, why to teach, when to teach, and how to teach in classroom while teaching. A lesson plan is a written guide for trainers' plan in order to achieve the intended learning outcomes. It provides specific definition and direction on learning objectives, equipment, instructional media material requirements, and conduct of training. Purpose of lesson plan for teachers. Use as guide for the teacher. They don't have to think on their feet. Give the teacher a starting point. They build on previous teaching and prepare for a coming lesson. Provide direction. They are clear on the procedure to follow. Gives teacher a sense of security and confidence so they don't lose face in front of their learners. It also helps keep good classroom management. When a lesson works well, students not only learn, they behave. So classroom management plus well-designed lesson equal higher achieving students. The learners. They realize that the teacher care for their learning. They attend a structured lessons easier to assimilate. They appreciate their teacher's work as a model of well-organized work to imitate. Comprehensive. A lesson plan should be comprehensive, brief, and simple. All your effort for realization of the set objective may be reflected in the lesson plan as far as possible. This must be short and precise so that you can prepare and use it with ease. Flexible. A lesson plan should be flexible with the scope to incorporate changes that would be instantly required at the time of transacting. The teaching learning activity in the classroom. For example, you may have come across a recent development in science which is not indicated in the lesson plan, and you realize that you must share this to make a concept relevant. Then you can immediately incorporate this in the lesson plan for better classroom transaction. A lesson plan must be practical, can be implemented in real situation. The teaching, learning, activity, and strategy purpose in the plan should be beneficial to the students and can be implemented within the stipulated available time. Is lesson planning important? Being clear on what you want to teach, being ready to cope with whatever happens, give your teaching a framework and overall shape. A reminder for the teacher when they get distracted. It suggests a level of professionalism and real commitment. To consider when designing a lesson plan. Number one, know your students' ability and interest level. backgrounds, attention span, ability to work together in group, prior knowledge and learning experience, special needs or accommodations, learning preferences. Know the content. So make sure it's subject matters that you will be teaching. State/school district curriculum guide, national/state curriculum standards. Know the material. So technology software, audio visuals, teaching mentors, community resources, equipment, library resources, and local guest speakers. Key components of a lesson plan: profile, objectives, material/equipment, procedure, and assessment. So for profile, basic information about the lesson, name of lesson, contributors, subject, grade level, introductional settings, small group, whole group, etc., and general description of lesson. The objectives: determine what you want your students to learn and be able to do. Focus on the concept or skill which you intended to teach. Example: organize, design, and prototype contents-rich websites that are easy to navigate and search. Using materials/equipments, you can use PowerPoint presentation, textbook, journal articles, multimedia materials, introductory video or audio, rubrics or checklists. For equipments, commonly used introductional equipment available for the instructor, like software application, PowerPoint, media player, computer equipment, computer, internet connection, video equipment, or a projector. Anything that you can use to bring your message across. Because remember, all students learn different, so it's good to bring out all learning styles. So for procedure, outlining the steps of the teaching progress, using introductional strategies, using the approach technique in your lesson plan. And for the assessment, assess the outcome and to what extent the objectives were achieved. Ensure the assessment activity is directly and explicitly tied to the stated objective. Takes time to reflect upon the results and revise the lesson plan accordingly. Some commonly used assessment activities are quizzes, tests, independently performed worksheet, cooperative learning activities, hands-on experiment, oral discussion, and question and answer sessions. Phrases that a lesson plan contains. A lesson plan contains the description of the activities to be performed by a teacher and the students in the classroom during the transaction of the lesson. These activities may be divided into three phrases, namely, the three phrases are pre-active phrase, interactive phrase, and post-active phrase. So the pre-active phrase defines the specification of learning outcomes, the objectives expected to be realized through the teaching. Learning of the intended lessons are specified in students' behavioral terms first in the lesson plan. The provision of teaching learning activity strategy, the method and strategies to be used in the teaching learning of the lesson plan are indicated in the lesson plan. The details of activities such as group activity, discussion, written work, and observation, etc. for the three strategies of the plan are specified. Pre-active phrase defines the specification of learning outcomes, the objectives expected to be realized through teaching learning of the intended lessons are specified in students' behavioral term first in the class in the lesson plan. Sequencing and time schedule of activity. The teaching and learning activities selected for the lesson needs to be arranged in a defined order, which would help in conducting the activities in the classroom. Further, time required for conducting each of these activities need to be decided so that one can visualize the number of activity that can be conducted during the entire period and during each phase of lesson. Last but not least, for the phrase is interactive phrase. Activities during teaching learning. This part is divided into three steps, namely introduction, preparation, and evaluation. So now I am going to break down these three steps. Introduction. This is the beginning of the teaching learning. At the time of starting the teaching learning of a new lesson, you must have a clear idea about students' previous learning experience. Based on their previous learning experience, you can create interest in them and motivate them for learning a new topic. For this, you may conduct a small and meaningful activity as far as possible relating to the new lesson to be taught. Hence, through such introduction activities, you help the students get their previous learning strengthening and make them interested and motivated for learning the new lesson. Presentation. This is the essential part of the lesson plan. All the planned teaching learning activities relating to lessons are organized in this step. You need to provide situation for students to perform activities in class and to facilitate the acquisition of prescribed competency. For strengthening their new learning, you may engage them in a reinforcement activity in this step. You should plan carefully to ensure that each and every student participates in the activities, either individually or in group as planned. When required, you may directly explain and teach the students by telling stories, making illustrations, explaining the difficult concept with example. Now, the assessment. This is the last part of the lesson plan. Approximately in the last 5 minutes, you need to assess to what extent the student have achieved the learning outcome set in the lesson. For this, you may ask some objective types of questioning pertaining to the learning objectives of the lesson to be answered orally by students. Post-teaching learning activity. Activity performed after teaching learning, home assignment, or revision. So you can always give the children homework relating to what you taught them in circle time for them to go home and do with their parents. Here are the advantage of lesson plan. Purpose, full teaching. Varieties of teaching techniques, effective utilization of time, wide range of activity, developing low cost, no cost materials, students' involvement, and assessment. So here you have lesson planning advice, the do and don'ts. So do, please be specific, anticipate problems, decide timing, have materials ready, file your plan for the future. Don't avoid too many details. Right here, I love when the students do a lot of talking and the teacher do less. So try to have them speaking more. That will help to bring out their thinking span. And another don't, do not use complex terms or words. As we come to the end, let us sum it all up. Learning outcomes of lesson plan, cognitive outcomes, psychomotor outcomes, affective outcomes. So this is the key, people. I'll save the best for last. Intellectual outcomes, example, they involve the application of facts, theory, and concept. Psychomotor outcomes, they describe skills the learners develop, like physical. Affection outcomes, they describe feelings and attitude which shape our behavior towards people, work, and our world. Behavioral. All right. Last three that I gave to you. When your DO comes to your school, trust me, that is what they'll be looking for in your plan. So I hope this presentation was an informative one. Thank you so much for listening. Please remember to use the comment section down below. Leave me a nice little word of thank you if I help you and break down the understanding of lesson plans. All right, have yourself a wonderful day. To all my teachers, thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. And remember, I am a teacher and I'm always open to learn. So if there's anything that you want me to do a video on, comment it down below and I'll definitely do so. Because each one teach one, each one reach one. Blessings.